broadcasting legend in his own mind. He's known to be prickly and very opinionated. It's time to get in the huddle with your host, Coach Muddle.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Huddle. It's me, Coach Muddle. Nevada Nick, how you doing?
Doing well, Coach. Doing well.
And Captain Jack just informed me he's running a little late. So
there was a line at the rub and tug, so.
so yeah, he had to get a little late start from his rub and tug. So he'll be joining us
in town, so you know how it goes.
And I tell you what, I really look. Let's table the Flyers because I know when Captain gets here, he's going to want to chime in on that. So we'll start somewhere else. I know the big talk is with the Mets players. Because everybody wants to know how come their names aren't out there.
Right.
Well, you forget it's HIPAA. If the players don't want their name out there, they don't have to have their name out there for this. And
to be honest with you, Coach, I have a problem with news organizations and all that kind of violate that. And because I know sometimes, obviously, it's leaked to them, but that's somebody's personal health. You know what I mean? Business. And if they decide they want to disclose that or come out with it publicly, that's up to them. But just because you're an athlete or an actor or whatever, that doesn't mean your personal health issues or whatever should be made public. That it's not exactly fair. I just, and like you said, it's a HIPAA violation. I mean, I'm surprised more of these guys don't have a lawsuit or something, or the Players Association don't really fight for it to find out and get to the bottom of where these leaks are coming from, because you'd have to think they're coming from within the team or that team doctor, somebody who works for the doctor, and people like that need to be, need to be fired because that's a direct violation of HIPAA, obviously.
Right. Absolutely. I agree. I think, but obviously when they put your name on the injury report for undisclosed injury, you can obviously surmise, that's the guy. So, because, the Mets have, I think it was 2 players and a coach or 3, whatever, but they're playing tonight. They're going to play a doubleheader tonight.
Yeah.
And then they're going to play a doubleheader on Friday and Sunday. That's, 6 games, 3 days.
Right. Now they've had off for a week, but they're also banged up right now. And, it's going to affect them. I mean, do you have any clue on what they're looking at for Stanton and Judge, how long they're looking to be out?
Well, that's the Yankees. Judge is back tonight. He'll play tonight.
Okay.
I was referring to the Mets because my point I was getting to with the Mets is, you look at Cole for the Yankees and Syndergaard, probably the 2 top pitchers in the major league.
DeGrom, you mean?
DeGrom. Okay.
Yeah.
You probably the best, but you look at you're at almost halfway through the season, and Cole's got, I think, 7 or 8 starts. I think this is going to be his 8th start tonight. DeGrom has 5. I mean, that's supposed to be your workhorse, your number 1. And why? You should have pitched tonight. Instead, he's missing his start because he did bullpen work yesterday. And, he's going to miss the entire Yankee series. You're playing 2, 3, 5 games in 3 days, and he's not pitching in one of those games.
Yeah, this is game 6 for Garrett Cole. But still, yeah. And you know what? It's going to be I don't know. I really believe a lot of people.
No, he's got two no decisions.
No, I know. I just looked it up. He had 6. He's 4-0.
Oh, okay.
Starts. Yeah. Now, but I just, I think when it comes down to it, Coach, I think a lot of people are going to have an asterisk on this year. I really do. I mean, just you're playing 60 games, and I don't understand the playoff thing either. If you wanted to expand to it a little bit, but to put it to 8 games, you could have a team like the Dodgers, who I think you'd agree right now are number one. Right. I think they've, shown themselves to be the best team in baseball. But, you get a bad series, and you lose, and then all of a sudden you're out of the playoffs. Just think of it now. I mean, it's like basketball where there's 8 teams. So, and it's much different than basketball. Baseball, kind of like hockey, where, you can get a pitcher that dominates or pitch really well, and you quiet a lineup, and you get taken out. I mean, and I just don't like – I didn't mind the wild card. But, okay, wild card, and then you're in your championship series. But now you're going to have the wild card, the division series, the championship series, then the World Series. And you're going to see a lot more of those Marlins 0-3 type teams that win World Series now, Coach, because, It's going to be about who's playing good baseball in October.
Right.
I mean, and that's why I love football, Coach, because, it's one game. And it's just, there's nothing like it. And that's why football, I think, has kind of cornered the market on sports. Because, every game's in the regular season.
Right. Hold on. I'm going to bring Captain in. Captain in here. Captain, how you doing, buddy?
Now that I got my I wanted to make sure the mic was on. And I'm flying in from, 2 for Tuesday, Taco Day. Great place. But wasn't leaving without my chocolate flautas, and they were waiting and waiting and waiting.
Oh, we thought there was a line at the Rub and Tug, so you went after the tacos after the Rub and Tug.
I'm trying to keep that a secret. Okay,
they call it Taco and Tugs Tuesdays.
Hey, if you know where the place is, I'm all for it, man.
Yeah,
get it there.
Now,
hey, wait! Your buddy Kraft it's only about a 20-25 minute ride from my place.
From your place, yeah,
it's right up the road.
It's about 5.5 from mine.
Yeah, Coach is very familiar with it. He knows exactly where.
That's when you want to rub elbows and with some folks, you got to know the right places to go. So,
Actually, the funny thing is that the first guy that I had a chance to interview, I shouldn't say recently, but like last year, was Willie Roaf, the Hall of Famer who lives down there. And I interviewed him like the week after that story broke. And, he was saying, it's basically right across the street from me, so we had a laugh on it, and obviously that didn't get onto the tape. So hopefully I can get Willie Roaf back on there again, and we'll do now that I do StreamYard, but it'll actually be on video. But again, apologies for the Rub and Tug Taco Tuesday event, but I wasn't leaving without my chocolate flautas.
Yeah. Now what? Now I'm a fried ice cream guy. I love fried ice cream. There's nothing like it, man. I'm a big.
I've had it. It's good. It's good.
You got to get it at the right place. I mean, because certain places are different than others.
Yeah.
I like if you ever been to Chi-Chi's, the old Chi-Chi's fried ice cream.
I used to serve at Chi-Chi's.
Wow.
When I came back from and this is one of the things, I was an old waiter, went into the Navy, was in Norfolk, and they had a Chi-Chi's in Norfolk, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go be a waiter again. Being a waiter is something you can't, return from after being away from like 10, 15 years, right? I was a waiter at Chi-Chi's in Norfolk, and I could do 2 tables, okay? I can do 2 tables, excellent service. The minute you gave me the third table, I was in the fucking weeds, man. And that's a waiter term. So,
that's a tough industry. That's a very tough industry. And then you get the people, too, who you're running around for, trying to give them the best service, and then, tip you bad or just don't treat you properly. And they deal with a lot of BS in that industry. I could never do it because I would probably, stick a fork up somebody's ass or something if they pissed me off.
The one thing that I hated, and I'm going to try to wipe my eye here, the one thing I hated was working as a server at Quincy's great steakhouse, by the way. There's only 1 or 2 left, and it's in South Carolina. If you're ever on 95, go to Quincy's off of 95. Great steak, great super salad bar or whatnot. Working a Sunday at Quincy's, you would get the after church rush, right? The worst thing that you could ever get is you'd go in there, you'd serve these people, and holier than thou and great. I'm not booking on all the the Christians that are out there, because there's some good ones, but you get the ones that give you it looks like a $10 bill, okay? But you open it up and it's fucking scripture about, don't you wish this was really $10? Well, if you serve the Lord, this would be $10 or something like that. A fake fucking tip, no other money. Okay, you know what? Fuck you. You need the money more than I do, so you can go to heaven, you cheap fucking bastard. So there you go.
All right.
Hey, no pee-pee eater either.
Yeah.
What happened to him? I guess no pee-pee eater tonight.
Actually, if I had a chance, I was going to change my name before I came in. I was going to say not pee-pee eater, but I didn't get a chance to. So he would be here in spirit. But you said let's put the captain.
So,
what did I miss?
We waited for you for the Flyers.
Oh, man.
Now, what a disappointing game last night. And look, I don't like to just go off one game because, Flyers were in a very tough 6-game series against Montreal. Islanders had a little bit longer of a break. But, man, oh, man, they didn't look good last night. And they did get some shots on the Islanders goalie, but he played well. But I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's just one game. We'll see what happens in Game 2. But I really think we're at a point that Game 2 is a must-win if they're in real trouble.
Yeah, it is. And I could tell you this. I will be honest with the crowd, okay? I saw the last 1 minute and 10 seconds of the game because I was dutifully employed doing the interview with Angela on our channel, and I had some technical errors. I felt like Coach last night. I had like a half an hour worth of technical errors to get it online. So when we finally got it online and it's good to go, moved over, it was about whatever it was, right? I popped on the game, saw that it was 4-0 with 1 minute and 10 seconds to go. And I'm like, and I had it on record, and I said, fuck this, I ain't watching this shit. So I went to record.
Captain, you need to watch one because I'm going to make a comment because
no. I saw one thing. I saw the most important thing. I saw Hayes going on a breakaway, and he missed the fucking net. And I said, that's all I needed to see was the breakaway that he had. It should have been a goal. And I saw that, that they, in the highlights on the channel afterward, I saw the highlights and I saw all I needed. The Islanders were playing aggressive. They played a lot of good passing and got everybody, with the open net. And then of course they did have an open net goal. So it was really 3 on Hart, but it was the way that they were playing in the highlights that I could see that the Flyers did not come out for it. And I was worried about this. And I think I said that yesterday. I said, I'm kind of worried about the Islanders and the way that the Flyers had been playing. And I think that they need to up their game. And apparently they didn't do it.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I said how Montreal, I thought, outplayed the Flyers. And it kind of continued last night. I thought the Flyers played a very good second period, trying to catch up. But, it was just obviously not their night. They seemed frustrated. And like I said, now a ton of pressure on the Flyers to get back to Game 2. And like I said last night, it's such a weird year because there's no home ice or home court in basketball. It's really hard to handicap these things. And I mean, look at the Avalanche. The Avalanche last series looked great. Now they go play the Stars. Avalanche were up 2-0 last night, and Stars come steaming back, and they look good. And Jason Dean mentioned earlier he thinks Dallas Mavericks are going to win the championship. And you know what, Jason Dean? They look dangerous as hell.
Yeah.
But I don't like that Porzingis is banged up. And they're playing the Clippers. If they would have had a little bit of a better year, and let's say they're the 6 seed or the 5 seed, I could see it. But happen to go through the Clippers, and then it looks like they're going to, whoever wins the Clippers-Maverick series will play the winner of, which is looking like Utah now, but the Utah-Denver series. I mean, look, if they get past the Clippers, I guess anything's possible. I mean, there's no team in basketball that right now that I'm saying is above and beyond. I think the Clippers are the best team, but you never know.
Well, I tell you, and again, I'm not hopping on any bandwagon, but yesterday doing the Lakers show, and then seeing how that they've been playing, and that they were definitely inspired last night for Kobe Day.
Yep.
The Lakers have surged, and I don't know whether it was just like a one game thing because of Kobe, but they played flawlessly from what I could see in the game last night. They're up. What is it? 3-1 now.
3-1. But Lillard's hurt though too, who's Portland's best player.
Yeah,
I think they're running out of steam a little bit. But what was a good sign, Captain, was with the Lakers, it's always been the LeBron and Anthony Davis show. You saw some other guys step up last night.
Yeah,
Danny Green had a good game. Kyle Kuzma had a good game. And that's what the Lakers need. You're going to get great games from Anthony Davis and LeBron James. It's a guarantee. They need some of these other guys to chip in. And a guy like Danny Green, who's won some titles with San Antonio and been very important, is a guy to watch out for. Same with Kuzma. Yeah,
and they were smart. Remember when they got rid of those guys, the one guy that they did not get rid of when they were revamping that roster for cap space and other things like that in order to get Davis, they did not get rid of Kyle Kuzma. And that was, testament to the fact that they saw more in him than you did with Big Mouth Ball and the other schmucks that they got rid of. They kept Kyle Kuzma, and that was very smart on their part. And I said, Danny Green is kind of like, what was it? Big Shot Rob. Okay. He's a good experienced player. He has the minutes. He has the pedigree. He knows what it means to win. And he's that guy on the bench that you can use in the right spots. Now, I don't know if is it Dwight? Yeah, Dwight Howard. I don't know how he's playing, but that's another piece that if he plays well, along with JaVale McGee. I almost called him JaVale Green, but JaVale McGee with the big guys when they need the spot some minutes for the brow, they have some guys kind of like the old Hack-a-Shack. If they need to bring out the brow for a little while, they got McGee, they got Dwight Howard, so they got some people to sub some minutes. If Kuzma and Green play well, you're going to get your points out of LeBron. I see no problems for them in this series, and then it all depends on what the matchup is the next series. But I think they might go to the finals in the West.
Yeah. Oh no, I think definitely the Lakers will go to the finals in the West. Yeah, I mean, what was I going to? I'm freaking lost my train of thought. Oh, basketball. We were sticking with the Sixers. Did come out today and said they are not going to trade Embiid nor Simmons. And I don't think it's sometimes people say that they try to drive up value. I don't think that. I think that they know how young they are, and like I've said, they know they're not going to get the value in return. So I'm happy that they did that because Embiid. They had questioned him, and he had kind of said, look, I want to end my career in Philly, but if I get traded, it is what it is. What am I going to do? You know what I mean? So I think it's good. You want to get behind those guys. And they've said it's more about what's around them than those two guys being the problem. And they're not two bums, Jason Dean. They're not. I mean, they're two good young players. They just need to get it together. Look at Michael Jordan. It took him years, and he needed to get Scottie Pippen to be able to move on in the playoffs and then finally beat the Pistons. So, we're in this now world where nobody has any patience, and they want to see instant results. And sometimes you got to let things – look at Steph Curry. I mean, it took him 4 or 5 years to be a star. Now, in some other places, it would be he's not good enough, let's get him out. I mean, look what happened with Markelle Fultz. I mean, they got him out of town, and he's not great, but, he averaged 12 points a game this year. He's getting better.
He's improving down in Orlando, and that change of scenery did good. By the way, if Howard and McGee were on the Yankees, it would be the greatest people ever, according with Jason Dean. Okay. So, and they're all going to the Yankees. So McGee, Dwight Howard, Kyle Kuzma, they're all going to be a Yankee by the end of the year. So then Jason Dean will love them.
Well, Dwight Howard, hey, he's not Dwight Howard anymore. But you can't complain about having him as your backup center. I mean, that's as good as it can get for a backup center. And on most teams, he would probably be the starting center. So, I mean, it's a nice piece coming off the bench for the Lakers. Obviously, he's not what he was in Orlando, but, still, it's definitely a nice piece coming off your bench, especially defensively.
Now, listen. Now, wait a second. Can I get back? I had a point about the hockey game, and you guys just totally steamrolled me and jumped in the basket.
Hey, how do you like it, Coach? How do you like it?
How do you like it, Coach?
Wait a second.
You like that?
Wait a second. The name of the show is In the Huddle with Coach Muddle.
Okay, let's both drop off. We'll both drop off and let you do it, Coach, and we'll see how the show is. Coach sitting there, Go ahead, Coach.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anyway, I really wish that these networks would keep the local hockey guys commentators. You didn't even know that 8 minutes left in the game that they pulled the goalie. You had no idea. They went, empty net goal. That's when you found out that there was a goal. It was empty net. It's just me. But
great point, Coach.
I would have appreciated that. Hey, they had 6 men on the ice. 8 minutes left in the game.
Yeah.
Okay, so they pulled Hart with 8 minutes to go.
No, but it was like 6 minutes. It was they were down 3-0. Oh, was it 8? It was, but it was.
Yeah,
Coach is right.
It was that goal with 7:42 left in the game.
Right. I think they knew they were down 3-0. And what are you going to do?
I mean, it was a gamble. It was a gamble. They hoped to get a goal and try to get back into it.
Right.
But you gave up that empty netter. But my thing is, as a fan watching the game, tell me the goalie got pulled. I mean.
Yeah. Well, my biggest thing too still is the Flyers' offense has been horrendous. So we said, no, they're 7 games into the playoffs. Their top 5 scorers from last year, 1 goal. And that's Kevin Hayes, and Captain was right. He had it in game 6. So through the first 5 games, they had nothing. Where's Claude Giroux? And I think a little bit they're always trying to get the perfect shot. Just sometimes my cousin loves saying, puck's on net. And he's right. And sometimes the craziest shit will go through. Or you get a puck and you get your stick up and get a deflection. I mean, you see it all the time. You have to do it. Plus, there's nothing like pressure. And I don't know. I don't like how the Flyers are playing. I'll stick with them because that's who I picked. But, man, they better come out. And let's not forget, tomorrow's game's at 3 o'clock. So by the time we get on the show tomorrow, we're going to know the Flyers' fate. And, look, you never say never, and it's not over. But if they're down 2-0 to a team like the Islanders, the way they're playing right now, and the way that goalie's playing, they're in deep, deep trouble.
I think believe it or not, he is the most consecutive shutout minutes for a franchise, for the franchise.
Oh, okay.
Are you talking the Islanders goaltender?
He's talking about the Islanders.
Right. I believe he's about 30 seconds short of Billy Smith.
Oh, okay.
But
still, he's 6-1.
Bring that up is Nick, you might not be old enough to remember, but Captain and I might be able to remember this. Is back in the heyday, the late 70s, early 80s, when the Islanders were winning.
The Islanders. Yeah.
And Billy Smith was all that in a bag of chips. Really, he only had two shutouts in a row.
According to the stat that I saw last night, and again, it was just a quick glimpse of what they had on the screen. And please check this, but it looked like he had like a couple seconds short of what Billy Smith had. So basically, as long as he doesn't allow a goal in the first minute of the next game, then he will have the shutout streak into that game.
Wow.
So in that respect, I believe he has it.
Impressive, considering the history of the Islanders,
Oh yeah.
People don't remember because it was so long ago, know.
Well, I think Billy
I
Smith
like the
was
Raiders. It was so long ago.
Hey,
Yeah.
fuck you. At least
Now,
okay.
Now baseball, we've reached basically the halfway point already for baseball, which shows you how crazy it is this year. So next Monday's already. Yeah, next Monday's the trade deadline. So the Phillies went out and got a couple relievers, and the guy Workman comes in and blows the first. Yeah, blows the first. That first guy fucking hits the ball. I mean, and it's just that's what bothers me about the Phillies. It's like everybody knew the bullpen was an issue coming in, especially when you knew Sir Anthony Dominguez was out coming in, to the year. Another team that's surprising. I really thought Joe Madden was gonna. Not that they would win this, but they were going to be more competitive. And I think the Angels are like 9-20. I mean, they're really struggling.
They're if they're not in last place in the AL West, they're like second to last place. But I had the Angels being either the second place because I had the A's winning the West.
I think you had them a wild card, just like I did, Captain.
Who, the A's?
We had A's and Houston, I think 1 and 2, and I think we both had the Angels at a wild card. I think.
Right. They were. I think it was either flip flop, but I had the A's, and then I had the Astros and the Angels in a toss up for 2-3. Okay, and they're just horrible. They're horrible. I mean, or actually, I'm gonna do my inner Charles here. They're terrible. They're terrible. They're terrible. So, inner Charles Barkley. But and it's surprising because, both I'm going to throw the Phillies back here. The Phillies were expected to be so much better than they were. The Angels were expected to be an up and coming, especially with Joe Madden as their coach, and that's why they were giving them a lot more wins. Kind of like Coach with his Tito factor. I still think he owes you about $1,000 or $2 for you picking Tito to win that division. Good for him. But you can't discount Joe Madden, what he brings to that team. Basically a homecoming for him, coming back, being a bench coach for Socha, and then coming back and actually taking over the reins for the Angels. Man, they should be doing so much better. But again, this is 2020. This is the reason why I screwed up 20 minutes out of the show last night. We were on or close to 25, and it took 25 minutes just to get the fucking thing on YouTube. Sorry, I'm in full Tourette's mode. Apologies here.
Now, one team that's really starting to heat up is the San Diego Padres. They've won 7 straight, so they're the hottest team in baseball right now, and looking pretty good. I mean, we all knew they were a young team. It was just were they going to put it together? And it looks like they are. You got Machado. You got the catcher, Will Myers, who I like. A lot of, Garrett Richards is a pitcher. So, I think they're in second place now. So they're a team starting to – although you can tell with baseball, it's been a very streaky year. Tampa Bay got on a streak. The White Sox are now on a streak. The Rockies were looking really good, and now they've kind of come back down to earth. I think the Rockies are right around – 500. Yeah, they're 14 and 15. They're 2-8 in their last 10, where the Rockies were in first place, just about a week and a half ago. So it's going to be a weird year where I think it's going to be, streaks. And like I said, it's a sprint to 60 games. So we'll see what happens in the second half of the year. And I'm really curious to see what happens at the trade deadline, because if you're a team like the Angels, I'm thinking anybody that you're not looking at for the future, you're probably going to dump. They actually even talked about, which I don't think will happen, is the Phillies trading Real Malto. But I don't think
that. I was going to say that.
I don't foresee that happening unless they really don't think they got a good enough team to compete. And there's a wink, wink. Hey, JT, we're going to go get some prospects, but then you're going to sign with us in the in free agency. But I still wouldn't take that risk. Because you never know. A guy goes to a team and likes it there and then signs with them.
Right. Like the Yankees did with Chapman, if you remember. They traded him to the Cubs when they won the World Series and then signed him back.
Yep.
So sometimes it works. Chapman is a good example. Sometimes it doesn't. I know that there was a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, tell me more. Uncle or was it Bob's your uncle, as they would say over in England for pee-pee eater. But it just doesn't work all the time. So unless that they are going to show JT the love and say, okay, we're going to get some prospects and go. But here's the thing. If you're going to show him the love, why not show him the love now? Why do you need to get rid of him for a bunch of prospects? Because actually the Phillies have a decent farm system. It's not great, but they got these kids that are up and coming. They got Baum on
and he looks good so far too.
Yeah.
Baum. He really does.
Yeah, and if my boy Roman Quinn could ever stay off the IL, he's a good young player. Hazley's a good young player. They got, Harper's not a young player, but he's one of the stars of baseball. You don't have Pat the Bat anymore, but you got Jay Bruce out in left field to screw up some plays. But there you go. I mean, they got batting and young kids. They need pitching though.
But that's what's encouraging though, because now you do got a 1 and a 2 though. Not a lot of teams have that. You got Nolan, you got Wheeler, so at least you got a 1 and a 2. Now you got to fill it out, and that's what I loved about Pat Gillick. Pat Gillick was great at filling out the roster, finding the Joe Blantons of the world who would come in and just be a good pitcher. Was he great? No, but he ate up innings. He got wins. Now, the year they won the World Series, he didn't lose a start down the stretch, but still, Joe Blanton was a valuable member of that team for a couple of years, and he was great at just filling out a team. I mean, Pat Gillick was who brought Victorino in as a Rule 5 guy, Jason Worth in as a Rule 5 guy, and they were all part of the core of the team. Matt Stairs, another great signing, where I know it's only 1 home run, but it's a pretty damn big home run when it's in the NLCS.
Right, it was the home run. But see, that's the thing. Is Amaro Jr. still the GM? He's not Pat Gillick. Right.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, and he went so crazy on pitching. Like, I didn't get it, going for Oswalt. And, take out Oswalt and keep Worth. I understood getting Cliff Lee, but going and having the big 4 and all that. And, yeah, they won 102 games, but then they went in the playoffs and lost because they couldn't hit. They lost 1-0 in Game 5 because they couldn't hit the ball. And it was a great pitch, great game pitched by Roy Halladay, but if you don't score any runs, it's not going to do anything. He went 9 innings and gave up 1 run and lost. Talk about demoralizing.
Yeah, they were playing like the 75 Padres.
Listen, Jason Dean, first of all, the Yankees, I could see them giving up J. Happ, but they're not giving up Montgomery. Okay, They're not. Montgomery's pitching pretty well. The Yankees are having issues with pitching like everybody else. So they're not giving up Montgomery. I could see them giving up J. Happ, but right now they need pitching themselves. So I don't see them, getting rid of. I could see them putting Clint Frazier on the market, and I forget the other kid. Third base is hurt right now, but
Urshela?
No.
Or Urshela's playing for the guy you're trying to think about, right?
Yeah. So, the Yankees have some prospects they can move, and they need some pitching before they go out and get a Real Muto, which what I would love. Go ahead, get rid of Sanchez and bring him in.
Right. But what hurts, too, is Paxton isn't having – Paxton was huge down the stretch for them last year. Yep. Didn't he go like what was it, 14, 15 starts, Coach? They won the game. He had a nice, down the stretch. And let's not forget, you're missing a guy that – what did Herman go? Was it 18, 19, or 20-4 or something like that? His ERA wasn't great, but he won games, and that's what matters. Right. Sometimes it's about how you battle in games and keep your team in it. So, I mean, you're missing – and we haven't brought up Severino yet. So, and that's –
Severino, Herman are not pitching.
And Britton's hurt.
If you can add Cole, you add those two to Cole and Paxton – then you're looking at Tanaka as your 5, and Tanaka is Tanaka. He really is not a number 1 anymore. He is kind of your 5, your inning eater guy.
Now, one name out there is Clevenger from the Indians. Now, I don't know that they would, because something happened. He went out with somebody and had to quarantine, and the Indians were pissed off about it. But I don't know that the Indians, they're obviously competing for the Central League title here. I don't know that they would necessarily trade him to the Yankees. They would probably want to ship him to the NL, I would think. But who knows? It's the Indians.
Right.
Hey, call Tito up, Coach. You're good with him.
Need. I mean, if the Indians need some bats, I mean, the Yankees are loaded with bats. And I honestly, look, Clint Frazier has had as many opportunities as a guy could have to crack the Yankee lineup. And he hasn't been able to do that with the injuries to Stanton and Judge and Hicks. He hasn't been able to step in the lineup. You've had other guys step up and play in front of him. So look, sometimes he shows those flashes. Maybe he'd be better off in Cleveland or somewhere else.
Yeah, put up what Jason Dean said, because that's a great point. Talking about Trevor Bauer. He goes, yeah, I want Bauer. Bauer's got a 1.65 ERA. And, Cincinnati's 11-16 right now, not having the year. That's what's so weird about the trade deadline. So many teams are going to be like, we're a couple games out, but what do we do? But that's another guy you might want to look at is Trevor Bauer.
Well, did you see what Trevor Bauer did about
yes,
with the
Joe Kelly?
Yes, and he wrote Bud in the did the fake drunk after he broke the record. He wrote Bud in it. He goes hold my beer. When they said about Joe Kelly breaking that record or strikeouts or whatever, and he tweeted, hold my beer. So when he went to break the record, he wrote Bud in the on the mound, faked cracking a beer, drinking it, and pitched it to the guy to break the record. Because apparently Budweiser is going to do something with him or something. I don't know. But
good marketing.
Yeah. But that's what's crazy with the wild card. The wild card teams right now are under 500. So, a team like the Reds are only like 2 games back. But my thing is, if you don't think you have a team that can compete legitimately for a World Series title or at least an NLCS type run, to me, you do what's best for the future of the team than, getting into playoffs and losing.
Now, let me ask you let me throw this out to you guys. I'm just, the New York Mets are for sale. New ownership is coming in. Your general manager sucks balls, literally. And,
wait, remember,
you remember. So, what do? Do you, as owners, you don't give a shit, let him do what he wants, or you just say don't do anything, team's for sale?
Well, you want to do what's best for the value of your team, I would think, and because what are they talking about, J-Lo and –
yeah, but there's also this big hedge fund guy that's got some money, and from what I gather in New York is the Wilpons want to get rid of the Mets, but they don't want to get rid of SNY, which is the TV station.
Yeah.
That covers everything. Where the hedge fund guy wants the whole package. J-Lo and A-Rod can't afford the whole package.
No, right. They would need investors.
So they want even with their investor group, they're only getting the team, not the TV.
I see what you're saying. Okay, gotcha.
So I wonder what that is, because I know that's the big argument in New York right now with that.
Captain, I would think you would want to do what's ever best for the value of the team. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
So if that means bringing some guys in or, improving your team. Because let's not forget, Syndergaard's hurt. They'll get him back next year. So the Mets, they're there. They just need to get some pieces.
All they need is Costanza. You get Costanza in there,
right?
And the Mets will turn around, and Costanza will change the uniforms, the cotton cotton uniforms. They'll shrink up, and then he'll bring them in there, and then he'll go out on the top. He'll drop a zinger, go out on the top. You just need Costanza in there. But as far as the value,
Tim Tebow back.
I'm sorry.
Bring Tim Tebow up.
Yeah, that's
yeah. You know what? Have Tim Tebow, and like I said, I'm a Gator. You get Tim Tebow.
But
okay?
Is he even really playing now? Because like the minor leagues are shut down,
right?
And he's really big on the SEC network,
right?
I would think he's going to work that and get paid instead of being a minor league, baseball player getting paid.
Exactly. And Tim is probably getting ready, maybe popping over, going to the Philippines and brushing up on his Tagalog. So he can do all that venture stuff. And yes, he does really speak Tagalog. That is true. But he ain't playing ball. He ain't playing ball. He's getting ready for the SEC network because they're playing football. That's where the money is. Why the hell? And he can work out anyway because he's a buff son of a bitch. So he doesn't have to, do all sorts of baseball stuff. He can do all of that stuff just to make him look like a steroid type of guy, and then go in and do his coiffed hair and get on and be the new version of Jesse Palmer and get paid.
And Coach, put up what Stiz said because that's what I thought. George Costanza. That's what I was thinking.
Yes, that's what he was saying. George Costanza. That's what we were talking about. Yes. Come on.
No, we're saying
Come on.
George Costanza from Seinfeld.
Yes.
Remember how he's with the Yankees?
Yes. And there was a whole scene where he was supposed to go to the Mets.
And his boss did. And his boss did. That's
because I'm hoping Gary's like Ruth, Gehrig, Costanza. Okay.
Yeah, no. He was going to go to the Mets, and he was doing everything he could to get fired from the Mets.
Right.
And his boss went to the friggin' Mets. And that's how Costanza became the GM for Steinbrenner because his boss went to the Mets.
I want to share this story with you guys. This a couple years ago, the New York Jets were having a job fair, and they had a bunch of New York teams. And I went up just to see, so I wait online. It's a whole cattle call thing, and the Yankees are there. And I hand the guy my resume, and I said, "Listen, would like to apply for the assistant to the assistant traveling secretary." My reference, George Costanza, referred me, and kid had no clue.
Wow.
He's like, what? Older guy who was with him goes, smacks the guy, goes, "Hey, great one. We never hear that." Like, because apparently,
yeah.
That was my story. Anyway, the Yankees, wait a second. The Yankees wanted to hire me as a ticket salesman, and the starting salary was $25,000. And I go, wait a second. So you want to start me off at $25,000 to live in New York City to sell tickets? I said, what can I afford? A closet? What do you guys have? Lockers? That I can sleep in a locker downstairs? How does that work, man? Come on.
Well, wait a second. Get with Jason Dean because he knows the guy that does the field at Notre Dame. He'll probably give you a key.
Okay.
And you can sneak into the room and sleep at night. Then you can
wise janitor.
Work. Yeah. I don't know nothing about it.
Now, what do you guys think about college football? Because it's looking like these three conferences are going to forge ahead. Now, what happens if they pull it off and have a season, and then the Big Ten and Pac-12?
They're going to look
they are.
Schools. That's it.
I agree. And honestly, it's starting to look. I mean, you see, not that baseball has a handle on it, but we're getting through the season here. It's not been. It's been a rocky road, but it looks like we're going to finish the season. NFL's been pretty good. Now, college, it looks like it's the different animal, obviously, because it's young kids. But I assume they're going to tell these guys, look, no dicking around. And I'm sure they'll have compliance officers, kind of keeping an eye on these kids and making sure they're doing the right thing, especially on weekends. And they all live in the same dorm anyway, don't they, Coach, when you're on the football team? So they might just have it where, look, we're going to stay here and not here for the season. That's it. I would think that's what they're going to do.
Right.
Well, let me ask a question, Coach. Are the guys that stay in the dorm, are they scholarship or like if you're a walk-on, you don't necessarily live in the dorm, do you? I'm asking as a point of reference.
Well, where I was at, everybody stayed we had a athletic dorm the football players stayed in the athletic dorm.
Okay.
So that's where they were. That's where they were at. I know. I mean, some of the bigger schools, some like senior guys might live off campus or whatever. Especially,
and they're the ones that get in trouble.
But some guys might be married. They might have kids, so they might be living off campus. I don't really know how that works. I really didn't have anybody that did that, but so. But as far as my experience, everybody was at the door.
Okay. I was just wondering because I know that there are the scholarship players, and then there are the walk-ons or the guys that quote unquote made the team.
Well, even if you're a walk-on, you gotta have housing anyway. So they put you in the. I mean, if you make the team, you're going to stay in the same dorm as those guys.
Yeah, so. That's why I asked. I mean, and that's a good thing then.
Right.
Good. Yeah, so Jason Dean's got Notre Dame, Clemson, Georgia, and man, Oklahoma State. Wow. I mean, because Oklahoma's had a pretty good hold on the Big 12. One team I'm going to say, watch out for Texas. Tom Herman, I like him as a coach. I could see Texas finally breaking through in the Big 12 this year. It's going to be an interesting year, though. There's no doubt about that. It really is. And, it's possible. The only thing is with Notre Dame and Clemson, I think we talked about is, they're already going to play once, and then if they both make the ACC championship, they'll play again. So if Notre Dame loses to Clemson twice, I don't see how they get into
I don't see that happening. And again, you're forgetting about Pittsburgh in that ACC. So, and I don't know how all of a sudden, Jason Dean, because Notre Dame's there's good teams in the ACC because there's not, okay? And all of a sudden, Oklahoma State, you snap your fingers, and they're good? Come on now. Oklahoma is the team to prove
you can't deny what Lincoln Riley's done.
And you can't discount that, but also you have Texas. And, Florida's just eating themselves there, Captain, okay?
Right. And all you got to say about Oklahoma is Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, and then this year Jalen Hurts. And look at the difference in quarterback Jalen Hurts was from Alabama to Oklahoma. Now, I understand it's two different systems. Nick Saban's a run-first defensive guy, and you're playing SEC defenses, not the shitty Big 12 defenses. But still, Jalen Hurts was very impressive there. I mean, he's had 3 Heisman Trophy caliber quarterbacks in a row. Right. He's a great quarterback coach. I love Lincoln Riley. I think he's one of those guys, and eventually he'll get himself a championship. I believe that. It's just they got to get that defense going because that's always the problem in the Big 12.
I show the hat because, and normally I don't watch all of those little BSPN clips that come on my phone, but the one that I did watch, was the guy was saying, and it was for college football, they said, are there any teams that are rated too high, and are there any teams that are rated too low? And the one that was rated too high, in this guy's estimation, and he succinctly stated, was LSU at 6 because they lost 14 guys, and they lost a bunch of, the 14 guys, they lost the coach, both offensively and defensively, and they're still number 6. He said they're a good team, but not a good number 6 team. And the one he said was too low was Florida. And granted, Florida won 11 games last year, which even surprised me.
Yeah, right.
And if they would have gotten past Georgia, and that's always the game, whoever wins Florida, Georgia is going to win the East like 99% of the time. And I tell you, with the quarterbacks that Florida has between Trask and the other kid who's mostly the running quarterback, and then Trask is the throwing quarterback, and I apologize, I forget his name. But when you use that system, kind of like Mullen did with Tebow and Chris Leaf, it worked. And they have that type of thing going for them this year. They lost some guys on defense, but I think Florida's going to be a hell of a lot better than people think.
And don't discount Tennessee.
I don't know. I don't know about Tennessee.
Wait a second. They won 6 of 7. Their last 6 of 7 games last year, including the bowl game, on a roll. I mean, they're up and coming. They're going to be that. You can't just say, "Hey, that's a win this year." When you play Tennessee, especially at home, you have to travel to Tennessee. I mean, obviously, we're taking fans out of the equation. Because that's a tough place to play when there's fans there.
It is.
Coach, I got some picks tonight.
All right, hold on a minute.
All right, sorry.
You got some picks tonight.
Hey, it's Nevada Nick. I should have broke your thumb. And if you don't want Gazzo breaking your thumbs, then listen to Nick's picks exclusively in the Huddle with Coach Muddle.
All right, so in the NBA, I'm going to go. I agree with Stiz. I like the Clippers tonight. Laying, I think it's 7 or 8. It's been going back and forth. And then I like the Nuggets plus 2.5. And then in the NHL, I'm going to go with Tampa Bay Lightning. I think they battle back, tie up the series. And then how can't you not like what Vegas is doing? So I'm going to go with Vegas in the NHL. And then also one baseball game. Yankees return tonight. Judges back. Cole on the mound. I'm going to go with the Yankees in baseball. And then I do have 2 over-under NFL wins for you. I'm going to go under. The Patriots are 9 wins, under 9 wins for the Patriots, and the Bengals are 6 wins. I'm going to go under on the 6 wins with the Bengals. So those are my 2 over-under on wins. Take the Bengals, under 6 wins. Take the Patriots, under 9 wins. I just think, I know Cam's there, but so many guys opted out. So many guys they've lost on defense. Brady gone. Scarnecchia gone as the offensive line coach. I think it's a rebuilding year for the Patriots.
Who?
Your buddy, Tom Brady.
Boy, your best friend.
Don't know him. Never heard of him.
You know what, Nick? You know what I would have loved to happen? I would have loved to have Tom Brady get signed by the Raiders because I would have loved to hear the different feeling of him just singing the praises.
I know he would have. He'd have been doing the TB12 dive.
No. I was on fucking record, and I can prove it with all of the posts that I've had in Facebook. I can prove it. And if you want to have it else, the guy that does my back surgery thing was a big Patriots fan, and he told me the same thing. Say, hey, what about Brady coming down to the Raiders? I said, fuck no, I didn't want him. And then when he did sign with Tampa, this same guy who's the Patriots guy went out and bought season tickets. I said, you just got TB'd, man. You got TB'd.
I was surprised. No. And JT Romaldo just hit a 3-run home run. Phillies up 4-1. So just, adding more money to his contract. But I was surprised Brady went to the Bucs because I really thought, as I've said before, I thought the Colts were a better match. I thought the LA Chargers were a better match. I was really surprised. His wife
wanted to be somewhere warm, but I thought San Diego was the place or LA rather, because his wife being in the fashion business, I thought that was a better fit. So and they have the big house out there in California and whatnot. So that's what I thought.
And no, I agree with Jason Dean too. I think that's Belichick's plan. I think they want to get Trevor Lawrence or at least Justin Fields and get that QB in. And look, Belichick, he's always going to coach up the D and the special teams and get the right guys in. It's just going to be about, if you've really seen with them, what happened was the offense really deteriorated. When they won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, it wasn't really Brady. It was Sony Michel, that offensive line, the running game, and the defense, and Brady not making mistakes and making plays in the right spots. It wasn't Brady's was the GOAT anymore. I mean, that was more of a offensive line running game. And, Belichick's going to try to get that offense going with McDaniels again. And like we said, I mean, no team, he's the best situational coach in football. Nobody's close. And what's crazy about him, Coach, and you know it, there is not a team that'll have a different game plan for every team as different as the Patriots do. They really are great at bringing different things to different teams, and that's what Belichick's just a genius at.
First
I
off,
think
get the name right. It's Cheatriots.
Okay, well,
Get it right.
Hey,
if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, Captain.
For life, our Raiders story. His wife actually, yes, she's in the biz. Because apparently
Lady Skeletor.
There's no agents in that, and she became the first agent, like representing models. Like that's why she makes so much money. She's like an agent now.
Yeah, Lady Skeletor. She's frightening.
Models, yeah.
She's frightening. Ugh.
But yeah.
I wouldn't say frightening, but I don't think
I would.
I would definitely. I agree with you where I would go with Bridget Moynihan over her in a heartbeat. I do agree with you on that, Captain.
No,
the girl he actually has a kid with her. Bridget
Right, right.
I know. Bloods on CBS.
I know who it does. The Coyote Ugly dude. Get the good shit. You know, the girl in Coyote Ugly that was on probation for beating the crap out of guys. That's the Bridget Moynihan that I go for. You can go Blue Bloods as the assistant DA. I'll go with the chick that kicks ass in Coyote Ugly.
No, it's not. You're thinking model agencies. She's like an agent, like an NFL agent.
Yeah,
like it's different than those agencies.
Yeah,
type of deal. Like models have agencies.
Yeah.
She's like an agent.
Okay. Right. And Coach, there's some real steam around Philly right now that Jay Wright might give the Sixers might take a meeting and give it a chance because they're talking about in recent history, obviously, because look, Billy Donovan is good shot at being the coach of the year this year, and then obviously Brad Stevens has had success at the Celtics. That maybe Jay Wright, if the price is right. I mean, it is where his family lives to me. So if there's a place he's going to go, I think it would be the Sixers. You got two superstars. It's where you live. If he's going to leave, it's going to be for the Sixers.
Oh, yeah. He ain't going to anybody else.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. All right, folks. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being on YouTube with us. Tell your friends. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And we appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow over on Facebook. We're going to flip-flop a little bit for now.
And
so,
Captain, no show tonight, Captain. Right now till Thursday again?
No. Myself and Angela are going to have our regular what the fuck are we talking about? Tuesdays and Wednesday nights, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. So I got to prep for that. And I'm sure she's going to call me in a little bit. We'll do some prepping as well. So, yeah. And by the way, watch the Mamba show from last night. It was really, really good. Chip, I can't remember what Chip's last name is, a renowned bass player, and is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and all that good, and really knowledgeable about some different things. And he's going to come on again with another one of his Laker folks in the near future. But watch the show from last night. Really, really good show.
All right, cool stuff. So make sure you go get something to eat and come back, check out Captain.
I'm gonna go eat my chocolate little crepe thingies from Mexican things, whatever the hell they are. I wasn't leaving without them. That's why I was late.
Tugs, tacos, and whatever.
Yeah. I missed the tug. I and the girl that gave them to me was Tuggable, so I did miss on that. So.
Nice. All right, folks. Thanks for hanging out. We'll check everybody out tomorrow. Thanks. Take care, and we'll see you tomorrow.